Welcome to Passionate World Talk Radio. Educate, enlighten, entertain. And this morning on Cool Your Heels with Lillian, our special guest is Tony Lapino, who is an unconventional life coach for entrepreneurs. Good morning, Tony. How are you doing?
Good morning. How are you? I'm doing great.
I am doing well, too. I went over and checked you out on LinkedIn. It says you work specifically with female entrepreneurs. Why
That's
females?
Correct. Well, females are, I actually, it's primarily because my house is full of females. I have 2 daughters and married, and
You're a little bit.
Yeah, I'm crowded with females.
You're crowded.
Yeah. But what I found is that I really enjoy working with them because they really get into creating the best version of themselves. And nothing against guys or anything, but sometimes with guys, the ego can get in the way a little bit. So with females, it seems to be it's more of a natural fit. For me, they're more apt to be more how do you want to say, open to change, open to work, and really seeking the best version of themselves.
I think females are a little more accepting of who they are and what they can do in order to change, where a man is pretty much in a set mold. I raised a kid by myself, and he was a boy. But you know what? The male chauvinism seemed to have affected him through the air.
Yeah.
Because I raised him from a woman's point of view, which his wife thinks is terrific, but he still has a lot of male qualities about him that he must have, picked up along the way. But I agree with you. I think in some respects women are a little bit easier to please because I also think that there's such high expectations of what men should be doing that when they fail to achieve or meet those expectations or demands, people are disappointed, whereas there are not as much expectations or demands made of women.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I think a lot of the expectations, maybe from women come from a different perspective. They come from, they're still, they still put a lot of expectations on themselves. And I'm just speaking from my own experience with my wife and, my girls, and, they seem to, they hold themselves to a high standard. But this seems like the expectation comes from a different perspective and a different light.
I think the expectation comes from within, whereas for guys it's a little more external.
Oh, very much so. Very much.
So when you work with a lady or ladies to help coach them, what are some of the topics that you feel are pretty much common across the board with the women?
Sure. I know you said, what I do as an unconventional life coach. I would change that. I know that's what it said on my LinkedIn profile. But I am a health professional. I'm a fitness professional. And I work primarily with women with their health and their wellness. And life coaching comes into play along the way. Like it comes into play inside of the system when we're talking and we're working on their health goals, their fitness, their nutrition, and that type of coaching, because life is a big part of it. Like everything that we do in our life has everything to do and affects the way that our health is affected, like the way we eat, the way we move, the way we choose to use fitness and choose to use nutrition, and the stress and the pressure and the anxiety that comes with everyday living. So the topics that we cover at the beginning of it is really getting into know who they are. The topics of, what do they do for work? What's your environment like? What is it? Do you have a stressful job? Do you have kids? Are you being pulled all over the place? What's your schedule like? We talk a lot about relationships like with significant other, married, not married, friends, coworkers, all those types of things. So those are some of the major topics. And we do get into nutrition coaching. We do get into fitness and working out and moving. But we really coach to the whole person. And we're creators of whole health living, because we talk about mindset and habits and dealing with the entire person and everything that comes with them. So those are the major topics that we cover.
Which is pretty interesting, because in the social, cultural period in which I was brought up, which was the 50s and the 60s, girls were taught husband first. If you have children, especially a son, he comes second. And you kind of fight for third place with the dog or the cat. And in business, I have found, I own my own business, and I find that if I don't keep myself to an inner schedule, a lot of the things that I tell myself that I need to do in order to keep me working right, which is health and nutrition and fitness and mindset and everything else, is you lose sight of it very rapidly.
Absolutely, 100%. Like it's very easy to get derailed in a hurry, and if you don't have a system in place, if you don't have the right people in your life, like you said, it gets very easily put to the back burner, and you very easily put yourself last. Where we really take the approach of putting yourself first, and I use the analogy of the number one asset. Like if you're a business owner, most of the women that I work with, they're either professionals or they're business owners and entrepreneurs, and I really preface it that the number one asset inside of their business and inside of their family is them. And it is not the building, it is not your retirement account, it is not your employees, it's none of that. It's you, because you're the producer. Like you're the producer, you're the mom, you're the wife, you're everything. And if you don't take care of that number one asset, then the rest will not go in the direction that you're hoping for, or it won't be sustainable. So we really focus on putting themselves first and looking at themselves as the number one asset.
So how do you go about doing it? You can tell a woman who's a business owner or who is in a high stress position like vice president or senior vice president to do these things, but how do you get them to ingrain it as part of, like breathing as a natural thing, so they actually do it?
Behavior change is very difficult. When it's something new, I keep it as simple as possible. So we focus on the system. So we get so accustomed to setting goals and setting these types of outcome goals, where I take an approach of looking at the system that they have in place. So if they want to, let's say if they want to integrate morning meditation for 5 minutes, if they haven't done that in their life, how do we build a system that allows them to do it very simply and very easily? And it may not start out with 5 minutes of meditation. It may start out by just simply setting an alarm to get up at a certain time. And taking that and really reverse engineering and looking at the cycle of events that will lead up to that. So we try to make our changes and our behavior changes so simple and so small that they create a habit. And those create a habit, then it turns into an automatic response throughout the entire day. The other part of behavior change is we look at identity. Who do you have to become? Like if if you want to be a conscious breather or meditating, or, learning to those types of practices, or being somebody who fits exercise into their routine, I use visualization as, who do you have to become? Like when you go to do these types of activities, when you're in that activity, you are a conscious being. If you're meditating, if you're exercising, you are an athlete. You look at yourself as an athlete, and you create a new identity, and you see yourself doing these things. And when you see yourself doing those things, and you start out and identifying as that type of person, and you act as that type of person, it keeps those behaviors more in tune to being able to change and keep those things sustainable. Keeping it very simple, keeping it very small, looking for very easy small wins every single day that stay consistent. And the other part of the whole thing is understanding really why. What's it matter? Why does it matter to them? And really digging into the deep-rooted reason for them wanting the change to happen. What is that? What's the trigger? What's happening? Why is this coming up that way? How does this make you feel? Digging into the thoughts and the feelings and the emotions around the activity that they're putting into place. Does that make sense?
Well, to me it does. It's almost as if you're writing a business plan for yourself to be healthy.
Mm.
And you're putting down what you see as your vision for you to accomplish, and then you're going to put down what you need to do in order to get it accomplished.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is the kind of stuff that you want to bring down to the level of girls in high school to get them set up for when they go to college. I mean, that's how I look at it. I understand what you're saying, but you may have a lot of ladies coming in who these ideas are very foreign or alien almost, because nobody's ever asked them to look introspectively into themselves and pull out these answers.
Almost
You're not
definitely.
taught that.
No, you're not taught that, and there's no part of the process that I ever say that is the easy way or the magic pill or the secrets or the secret. This stuff isn't easy. It's not easy at all. It's uncomfortable. Like, I challenge my clients to get uncomfortable and be okay with being uncomfortable, and I create that safe space, and I share with experience that, you know what, that's the path to growth, is through the dark times and the hard times and getting uncomfortable.
And I think it's important because I know that when you set up a business, and a lot of ladies do, and I've interviewed a lot of ladies, some of them really take time to find out who they are before they write their business plan. In fact, I interviewed one lady yesterday who said her mentor stopped her from writing her business plan until she knew how she was going to treat herself. In other words, did she see herself in the next 20 years working to the point where she was always working, so she never had time to pull away from her work and be independent and not so be identified with her work that she could not leave it behind and go on vacation or spend time with her family. And you hear a lot of this from very, very high-powered, successful businessmen. They say the same thing. Their identity is their work.
Yes. Yeah.
So for them to take time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was in that same exact position, and that's the mentality. That's what we're taught, right? Is you make as much money as possible, you keep your mouth shut, you keep your head down, and just keep going. Well, I ran into a position 3-4 years ago where that same mentality of building a business and having multiple six-figure businesses, running them at the same time, burnt myself out, almost losing everything, and realizing and hitting that bottom and saying, this isn't what I signed up for. There's got to be more. There's got to be a better way. I don't want to follow the same path that my parents followed. I don't want that for my kids. I don't want that for my family. And that's really, for me, is when I began searching for answers as to why I was feeling the way I was feeling, why I was having the thoughts that I was having, why I felt so disconnected in my business, in my marriage. And along that way, this whole entire last couple of years have been digging into who I am, understanding who I am. Why do I think the way that I do? Why do I act the way that I do? Understanding what my purpose is and my passion is, and aligning those things with my vision and my values. And that's what I bring to my clients, is that this isn't just about putting a workout plan and a nutrition plan in place and building habits and lifestyle and all that stuff. It's more than that. It's getting in tune with who you are and what it is that you want, and aligning who you are with what you do and how you act every single day.
And that is the most difficult part of being a business person, whether you're doing your business at home or you're doing your business out into the wide world, or even if you're staying at home and taking care of the kids and taking care of the family first. It all involves you as a person knowing who you are and what you want, and I guess mostly what you're willing to sacrifice in order to get it, but still maintain your calmness.
Sure. There is definitely sacrifice to all of it, and especially, in business, and I look at, and I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. Two hard questions that have come up that have been really difficult to answer, and the first one is answering, what do you want? When you ask somebody that, what do you want, have they really thought about it? What is it that you want? Is it from an outside source? Is it something tangible? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to experience? What do you want to see in your life? Not just from business. What do you want for your health? What do you want for your belief system and your faith and your family? What do you want? But then the other thing is I challenge them is to say, how are you spending your time? And when you take a look at the amount of time that you spend throughout the day taking care of other people's problems and taking care of other people's tasks, and how you spend your time on a regular basis, and you break it down and you look at how much time do you spend for yourself, taking care of yourself. And when you break it down and you take a look at it, the question that I have for you is, are you worth more than 2%? Is your life worth more than 2%? Because that's usually about the amount of time that somebody would spend taking care of themselves.
And I bet you get a lot of people who really can't answer it. I think the third question you ought to ask them is where your balance is and how you're going to try to attain that balance.
Yeah, most definitely. And balance is, I look at, balance is there truth? Is there true balance, or is it flow? That's how I look at it. Is that there's a flow to life. There's ups and there's downs, and sometimes there's things that are out of balance and out of flow. So for me personally, in my own experience, trying to create balance in all areas of my life, whether it be faith, family, fitness, and finance, try to have everything balancing all at once and working at being 100% balanced all the time, is to me, in my belief, is that it's really difficult to have. But there's a flow, and understanding that there's a flow. There's ups and there's downs throughout the entire year, throughout the day, and going through those experiences.
I remember somebody asking me, how can anybody, I was married for 30 years before my husband passed, and somebody says, how did you do it? And I said, I said, marriage, bringing up a kid, it's like, on good days, the sun's out, the sky is blue, and the sea is calm. And I said, every now and then you get some really little waves that come in and slap at your feet. I said, but sometimes there's a big storm out to sea, and the waves are way over your head, and you have to try and get up where you ride over the crest. And I said, that's what life is. You have to be prepared for the big storms at sea and go along with the gentle wave action on the shore. And they kind of looked at me like I was crazy, but that's what life is. It's not one steady, everything is 100%.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right on point there.
So it's very difficult. So how successful are you? Do a lot of the ladies who you coach get it and put it in their lives and move forward on to more success?
Yes. Yes. And here's the reason. Here's the reason why is the people that I work with and the clients that I work with, that they come to me, I make sure that first thing is that we're a good fit, that I'm a good fit for them and they're a good fit for me. Because my approach is not necessarily conventional. It's not just a pat on the back, hey, you can do it, it's okay. I mean, we're taking action. I hold you accountable, so the reason why they're successful is because they're ready. Like they're ready. And I can recognize that when they come to me. Like they want change. Like they want to feel better. They want to lose weight. They want to feel more confident. They want to stay competitive in the marketplace and taking care of their fitness and being strong, eating right allows them to be able to do that. So yes, I do see that. The one thing that I do preface it is that there is no overnight success. Like this isn't a get fit quick or fad diet kind of deal. There's no magic pills or anything like that. This is a sustainable lifestyle. These are creating real sustainable change and creating whole health living for the rest of your life. This isn't just 6-week crash course and lose 10 pounds and be on your way. That's not for me and that's not for my clients. So the success that they have varies on different levels. Some people lose weight. Some people feel stronger. Some people have more energy. Some people are sleeping better, more confidence. They're able to, accomplish more throughout the day because they're running on a very specific pattern and path with an operating system. So yeah, we create success, most definitely, and I'm all about results. It's results. That's it. That's all I want for them is results. And if I can't get you the results that you're looking for, then that's on me.
Are there any that backslide?
Say that again?
Backslide, where they lose their way maybe, even though they're the new improved, but sometimes people get discouraged? Of
course. I would say majority have setbacks. We all have setbacks. And I'd be lying to you to say that we don't have setbacks. I don't care how good you are, there's always setbacks in life. So it's understanding and having that system, having that the people around you, the right people around you. So when setbacks happen, you can go to them and you have an outlet and say, hey, I'm having a setback. Can you help me out here? Hold me accountable. What can I do? And getting real, very real with people and seeking the truth and seeking the facts. Because, I would say a lot of the times, we surround ourselves with people who are just willing to give us a pat on the back and say, okay, it's okay. It'll be all right. It'll pass. And there's nothing wrong with that. But in my opinion, in my experience, having people that are going to challenge you and keep you moving and understanding that there's setbacks is the way that growth happens more frequently and more often.
So in other words, ladies, you have to be prepared to work. I tell people, I say relationships, work, you have to work at it, and you got to work at it every day, and it's not always going to be 50-50 or 100-0. Sometimes it's not going to be any percentage of all. But you have to come prepared to work and to tell yourself that you're going to make sure it works. You have to give yourself permission to succeed.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You have to give yourself permission to succeed. You have to give yourself permission to fail. Because in my opinion, there's no such thing as failure. It's just learning. That's how you learn.
Yes.
That's exactly how you learn.
Exactly. I tell my grandkids, I said, you need to fail at something. I don't care what it is, but go out and fail at it, because when it really happens in real life, you'll be able to push yourself up, brush your knees off, and soldier on, because it's important that you get up and put yourself back into the fray.
Sure. And it's no different with my clients. I expect them, like, we work. Like, that's it. And we take action and we work, because there is no growth without action. And this isn't, like I said, we are not a get fit or an easy way or anything. We really attack life the way life is, and I approach everybody as an individual. There is no one set diet plan. There is no one eating plan or one fitness plan or one way to approach a situation or a problem. They're all very unique, and that's what's so fascinating about it, is we are all unique. And really getting in and understanding who they are, what their life is like, what's the mess, right? We all have a mess. and understanding and learning from that mess. Yeah, it's all there. It's all there, and it's all part of it. And just really empathizing with people and understanding where they're coming from, and not, and just taking that approach and being okay with failure, being okay with that, being okay with being uncomfortable and challenging themselves and doing things that they never thought they would be able to do. And that's what's so awesome about this. I love it.
It sounds great. So Tony, tell everybody where they can find you on the World Wide Web, your contact information, and anything else people need to know.
Yeah, sure. You can find me at Onascent Fitness, ONASCENT Fitness.com. And you can check out the information that's on there. We talk about who we are, what we do, and if we can serve you and we can help you in any way, there's a contact form with you can put in a question, whether or not it's nutrition, fitness, goal setting, whatever it might be. Throw it in there, and it's me. I'll be the one that will reach out to you. And you can find me at info@onascent.com is my email. Facebook, simply at Tony Lapino, Laprino. And that's what we do.
That's it. I'm just curious, if a mother comes along with their daughter and asks you if you would coach her daughter, they're in high school and they're having trouble sleeping, or they're having trouble coping with their workload, because some high schoolers do. I have 3 grandkids, and 2 of them are taking advanced academia in high school. And so if it isn't for their sports schedule, they're at home under loads of work. So if somebody brought in a 15 or a 16-year-old, would you work with her?
Absolutely. My daughters are 13 and 9 years old, and we work together. Like I said, it's not easy, but just really understanding who they are, and that's, to me, that's one of my biggest skills, is just sitting and listening and just being that sounding board and for people.
Yeah, I understand the feeling. I've been listening to teens and their problems for a long, long time, and I always feel kind of sorry for the girls, because when they get really close to a guy and the guy goes off to school, their first emotion is, I've got to apply to the school near him or go to the same school he's going so I can be near him. And the first thing I said, is he going to do that for you? I said, is he going to give up his family and his goals for you? is he going to follow you all over the world? Should you get one of those really super califragilistic jobs? Is he willing to make the sacrifice? Because if he's not, don't do it. I said, you're not him. You're not a part of him. You're you. Yeah. Stay you. If he's really interested, he'll come in pursuit. Trust me, it works that way.
Right. Yeah, it's so none of it's easy. None of it's easy.
No, it's not. And unfortunately, our society really doesn't let teenagers, boys or girls, understand that they've got to work for what they want. It's just not going to be handed to them easily.
Yeah. So true.
However, that's another topic. So we want to thank Tony.
Another.
I'll have you come back on and we'll talk about it, okay? We're going to thank Tony for showing up today and being interviewed on Cool Your Heels. You can hear this program all over again on Spreaker, on iTunes, on iHeart, Twitter, on Facebook, on our website, https://passionateworldtalkradio.com. We have a blog that will come out with all of Tony's information plus his audio, so look for that. And before we go away and stray, Dr. Johnson had this to say, seldom any splendid story is wholly true. I want to thank everyone for joining us this morning, and thank you very much for listening. And remember, please stay healthy and wear that mask.